And glad to welcome Danielle Morgan into the conversation. She is the executive director of the Mississippi Tourism Association and is kind enough to spend some time with us. Danielle, good morning to you.
Hi, Richard. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate very much you joining us. Let's dive right in. Over 130,000 jobs, 43 million visitors, $11.5 billion generated for the state of Mississippi because of tourism. What's going on?
Well, we are very busy. It's a really busy time of year for us, of course. Legislatively, that's a big time. A lot of what we do is advocacy on behalf of tourism. So lots happening there, of course. And we have our Capital Day tomorrow, which we're very excited about to celebrate tourism's impact.
What is not like a specific breakdown in terms of dollars, but what's the balance of tourism in Mississippi as you track it between people from other countries, people from outside Mississippi who are coming in to visit the coast or to see different parts of the state versus people who are coming in for college sporting events? We know how big it is in Hattiesburg with Southern Miss and Oxford with Ole Miss and Starkville with Mississippi State. Is that tracked as part of tourism in Mississippi?
Oh, it definitely is. You know, we laugh and say our college towns say it's tremendous, but it's only 8 weekends a year, and we definitely have to also make sure we market the other 52. Well, I can't do the math, but make sure we do the other weekends where those sports events aren't happening. But of course, that's a tremendous driver. Our state has actually partnered with other cities in the SEC to make sure that visitors are experiencing those college towns while they're traveling for sports. So that's been a cool way they've connected.
What's the biggest driver of tourism in Mississippi right now?
You know, I think outdoor is we saw a huge surge in outdoor during COVID, but of course, our music, history, culture, that is always going to be a tremendous driver for us in Mississippi. And then gaming too. You know, gaming's a big one.
Yeah. I'm always fascinated by the number of international people who, if they're doing a tour of the United States, whether it's because of literary culture or music culture or just kind of the state's history, that have Mississippi and a lot of different places in Mississippi on their bucket list or on their itinerary to come through, because there's just a lot that's there.
There really is. And we love international visitors. They typically stay anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks when they travel. They do vacation a lot better than we do. But we love those visitors. We love bringing them in. They love to kind of fly in, particularly for music history. You know, they'll fly into Nashville, come down through Memphis, then see where it all began in Mississippi, and then head out of New Orleans. So they kind of catch the full spectrum of music. And of course, one thing we know about international visitors, they want to do something none of their friends have done. So they've done the big, huge Disney, they've done the big attractions, but they want to see real Americana that's unusual. So we can provide that for sure.
What about the Blues Trail and the role that has played? I know that is something that is continuing to grow. It continues to attract people who come in, whether they want to see something about Muddy Waters, or they're looking to learn about Robert Johnson and the Crossroads and the history of the blues. What impact has that had, and do you see it continuing to grow?
You know, I think that we've got around, I think, 250 markers in the state, and we have a few in other states and even a few in Europe. But you know, I think that that's been a tremendous way for people to understand our blues history and interpret some of those sites. You know, as you know, for many years there wasn't any way. Kind of, if you were a local, you knew those local sites, but there was no way for a visitor to really experience those stories and learn about what happened here. And you know, it's just a wealth of music history. I mean, I'm even surprised. I learned things new that I didn't know about Mississippi's contribution to music and culture every day. So I think it's been great. I think that now we're shifting a little more into focus on making sure we're promoting all of our trails well, maintaining our trails, all of those things. But yeah, it's been great, especially during COVID. People could get out and do that and not talk to anyone, and it was a great great tool for us at that time.
I'm curious, as we visit with Danielle Morgan, she's executive director of the Mississippi Tourism Association. What's the relationship between your office at the state level with local municipalities? Festivals are such a big deal. Whether you're talking about cruising the coast down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, or Double Decker in Oxford, or Prairie Arts Festival in West Point, or I don't know, the Watermelon Carnival in Water Valley, Mississippi. What's the relationship between Mississippi tourism and local tourism within Mississippi?
So we work very closely with our local partners. Of course, they're the boots on the ground, and we are a grassroots organization. So we depend on them to make sure that that we know what's going on around the state. Of course, Visit Mississippi, the state tourism agency, they also provide some grant opportunities for those events, particularly to get them off the ground, whether they're new, and also just making sure that we're promoting those and connecting those dots. We produce the state tour guide, and so it's a great resource for a calendar if you want to see events by month in every region of the state. So we definitely want to do our part to get that word out there, because that is some of our festivals and events are really one of the greatest experience for our visitors and residents.
Yeah, no question about that. Danielle, so we've seen some surrounding states, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, that have brought tourism officially in-house, kind of under the state government umbrella. Is there a scenario where that makes sense? Is that a conversation that's happening here in Mississippi?
Yes, actually, we've looked at a lot of other states for years. We've kind of studied those models and what's working well. You have to know your competition, as you know. So we have worked hard to make sure that we're in the best position to grow tourism. So our states, actually, we have a bill this year that is Senate Bill 2573 that is considering making tourism an independent agency. It currently lives under the Mississippi Development Authority. But it's a bill that would make it a independent agency that was a cabinet level position that reported directly to the governor.
Why would that be beneficial?
I think really just prioritizing tourism's Mississippi's fourth largest industry, but also it is very important to our development in the future, making sure we strengthen our communities, provide quality of life opportunities for talent, keeping our best and brightest here in Mississippi. That's something we're really focused on. And we say it all starts with the visit, and the visit starts with us. Tourism is the first date of development.
Kind of like the front porch, right? It's the first thing you
That's
see.
right.
You gotta have
That's
your front porch in order. Just a couple of minutes left with Danielle Morgan. In terms of priorities for you going forward, you mentioned that today or tomorrow is Capitol Day. You'll be in Jackson with legislators and other tourism professionals, and really kind of a spotlight there. So in terms of your to-do list, the things that are on the horizon, what's the big project right now?
I think just making sure that we're very intentional in how we grow tourism. Mississippi was a leader in tourism recovery, thanks to the strategic investment by the legislature. They took some of those federal dollars and really grew our tourism footprint. So I feel that we're at an inflection point now of where we go from here, and how I just hope that we can be really thoughtful in making sure that however we continue to invest in tourism is going to be what impacts our state the most, and also stops the brain drain, creates great communities for residents. Like I said, a great place to visit is a great place to live. We know that. So we want to make sure that we're providing those opportunities to continue to improve our state.
Is there any way to track that? People who visit Mississippi and they're like, man, this is a really good spot, that ultimately decide to go with a relocation?
We should track that. We do track visitors in a lot of ways, but I'm not sure there's a great mechanism for that. But that's definitely something to think about. We've seen there's a cool study about the halo effect of tourism and how it impacts people's decisions to move to the state, invest in the state. So we know that it's a game changer.
Danielle, thanks so much for your time. We wish you all the best, safe travels in some yucky weather today, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks so much, Richard. Have a great day.
Danielle Morgan, Executive Director of the Mississippi Tourism Association. She is joining us this morning in a really good conversation there. We're going to take a time out. We've got more coming up with you. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.